Have you ever found yourself waiting for that one true love to come? It feels like you're standing at the edge of the world, looking out into the unknown, hoping that this time the wait will be worth it. But what if I told you that true love doesn't just show up? No, no, no. It's not just a miracle that drops out of the sky. True love, real love, the kind of love that stands the test of time, takes time to arrive, but there's a reason for that. There's a purpose in the waiting, and today I'm going to tell you why. Some of you may have been waiting for years, while others may have just started that journey. But no matter where you are in your story, I want you to hear me loud and clear. True love is not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's not something you rush, it's something you grow into. It's something that strengthens you, refines you, and prepares you for the most beautiful connection you'll ever know. And so I ask you today to open your hearts, because this isn't just about love between two people. This is about a deeper understanding of what it means to truly love yourself and others. Let's dive in. True love, my friends, requires a strong, solid foundation. And just like any foundation, it must be built carefully and deliberately, brick by brick, piece by piece. We live in a world where everything is fast-paced, where we expect instant gratification. We want the things we desire right now. The new car, the new job, the success, and yes, even love. But the reality is love, true, lasting love, does not come at the snap of a finger. It cannot be rushed, and it should not be rushed. Think about the great buildings in this world, the skyscrapers, the towering monuments. Do you think they were built in a day? Absolutely not. They took time, patience, effort, and meticulous planning. Each brick placed carefully. Every step in the process was intentional. You can't just throw something together and expect it to stand firm when storms come. You have to build it up over time, step by step, with purpose and thoughtfulness. When we think about love, we often envision the excitement of the initial spark, the first moments when you meet someone and feel that connection. But love isn't just a spark. Sparks can fade quickly if they don't catch fire. True love, the kind that endures, is not something that comes easily or instantly. It requires time to develop and mature, to grow beyond the initial infatuation, to deepen into something that is strong and lasting. Think about the beginning stages of a relationship. The first few months or even years might seem exciting, filled with excitement and passion. But what happens when the newness starts to fade? What happens when you're no longer just getting to know each other, but you're learning to live together, to build a future together? That's when the true test of love begins. It's in these times, in the quieter, sometimes more difficult moments, that love is tested. When you learn to support one another through life's challenges, when you work through misunderstandings and disagreements, that's when you start to build a true and lasting foundation. Trust is built during the hard times, not the easy ones. Communication is strengthened when you work through differences, not when everything is perfect. And building this foundation takes time. You can't shortcut it. You can't rush through the process, because if you do, the foundation will not be strong enough to withstand the storms of life. It's in the little moments, the conversations late into the night, the shared experiences, the challenges faced together, that the foundation of true love is laid. You cannot skip these moments, because they are what make the love strong, solid, and enduring. In the beginning, it may feel like it's taking longer than you expected, like the foundation isn't coming together as quickly as you had hoped. But trust in the process. Trust in the fact that the longer you take to build, the stronger the foundation becomes. And when you build a strong foundation, the structure, your relationship will be able to stand through whatever comes its way. It will weather the storms, the hard times, and the difficult moments. It will stand firm. So, my friends, don't rush it. Don't try to shortcut the process. Let the foundation of your love grow, solidify, and strengthen over time. Let the relationship deepen, not just in passion, but in trust, in respect, and in understanding. It's in the time you take to truly build that the love you're looking for will stand the test of time. Patience, my friends, is more than just waiting around. It's a process, it's a journey, and it is one of the most essential virtues that we must cultivate if we are ever to experience true love. You see, many of us have been taught that patience means sitting back, doing nothing, and just waiting for life to hand us what we want. But the truth is, patience isn't passive, it is active. It is a time of growth, a time of development, and yes, a time of preparation. Patience refines us. It works on us in ways we can't always see at first. It's in the waiting that our hearts become softened and our minds become clearer. When we experience the waiting period, we are not just waiting for something external to happen. We are being transformed from the inside out, and this transformation is necessary for true love to arrive. If we rush through life, if we rush through relationships, we miss out on the refining work that patience does in our hearts. Think about it. How many of us are truly ready for the love we desire? Are we truly prepared to give ourselves completely to another person? Or are we still carrying old wounds, past fears, and insecurities that need healing? Love isn't just about finding someone to spend time with. It's about learning to be the best version of ourselves so that we can offer the best of ourselves to another. And that takes time. It takes patience. It takes the willingness to face the parts of ourselves that need healing, to confront our past, and to build the strength to love again. In the waiting period, we begin to discover who we truly are. We begin to understand our needs, our desires, and our weaknesses. This self-awareness is essential because without it, we would bring into a relationship expectations and baggage that would prevent us from giving and receiving love freely. When we take the time to develop patience, to wait for love to come at the right time, we are allowing ourselves the opportunity to grow into the people we are meant to be. But patience is not just about self-growth. It's also about understanding the value of the love we're waiting for. When something comes too quickly, we often don't appreciate it. We take it for granted. We put in the effort it deserves, and we can easily lose it. But when we wait, when we endure the challenges and the trials, when we practice patience, we begin to recognize how precious true love really is. Love isn't something we should take lightly. It's not a fleeting emotion or a temporary infatuation. It's not something you find on the surface. It's something that requires time to understand, nurture, and protect. The process of waiting for love teaches us its worth. It teaches us that love is sacred, that it is not something to be rushed or hurried into. Instead, it is something to be cherished, something to be prepared for. And so during this waiting period, we must learn to trust in the timing of our lives. We may not understand why love hasn't come yet or why we've been through so many false starts, but patience allows us to trust that the right love is coming at the right time and that it will be worth the wait. We may not see it right now, but trust me, when it arrives, you'll realize that every moment of waiting, every trial you endured, and every piece of yourself that you refined was part of the process to make you ready for the love that was destined for you. In the meantime, we must not waste the waiting. We must use it to build ourselves, to grow, and to become the person who can not only receive true love, but can give it in return. Patience doesn't mean doing nothing. It means actively preparing for what is to come. It's about learning to be comfortable with ourselves so that when love finally arrives, we are ready to embrace it fully, without fear, without hesitation, and without doubt. So my friends, do not despair in the waiting. Do not lose hope if love has not yet arrived. Understand that you are in a season of prep, a season of refining. The time is not wasted. It is making you ready. When true love comes, you will be able to recognize it, appreciate it, and nurture it, because you will know that it was worth every moment of waiting, every second of patience. You are being shaped, you are being prepared, and you are being made ready for the kind of love that will change your life forever. The process of growth is one of the most beautiful yet challenging aspects of life. You see, growth is not something that can happen overnight. It's something that unfolds slowly, often without us even noticing it. True love cannot arrive in its fullest, most powerful form without a person first growing into the person they need to be to truly understand and appreciate it. This is not just about growing emotionally, but spiritually, mentally, and even physically. Growth is the preparation that allows us to fully embrace what love has to offer when it finally comes. Think about a tree. A tree doesn't just sprout up overnight. It takes years to grow, to develop a strong trunk, deep roots, and branches that can hold the weight of fruit. If the tree is rushed, if it doesn't have time to strengthen and mature, it will never bear fruit that can withstand the storms of life. Similarly, we must take the time to grow, to strengthen ourselves so that when love comes, we can handle it with grace and wisdom. The process of growth in love is often a gradual and sometimes painful one. It's about stepping out of our comfort zones and challenging ourselves to be better, to be stronger, and to be more self-awareness. Growth requires us to face our flaws and shortcomings head on. It requires us to be humble enough to admit that we are not perfect, that we still have work to do, but that work is necessary because it prepares us to be the kind of person who can give and receive love in its most genuine form. In relationships, growth is also about learning how to communicate, how to listen, how to understand the needs and desires of another person. It's about recognizing that love is not just about your needs, but about the needs of the other person as well. It's about developing the emotional intelligence to know how to meet your partner where they are, how to support them through their challenges, and how to navigate the ups and downs of life together. But growth doesn't just happen through the good times. It's in the difficulties, the struggles, and the hardships that we experience the most profound growth. It's when we go through trials, whether personal, relational, or external, that we are forced to dig deep and find strength we didn't know we had. These struggles are not roadblocks to love. They are stepping stones. They are part of the process of becoming the person who can love deeply with understanding, patience, and empathy. We all carry baggage. We all have past experiences that shape who we are today. Some of those experiences may have been painful, some may have been joyful, but all of them contribute to our growth. However, before true love can come into our lives, we must do the work of healing. We must allow ourselves to let go of past wounds and to forgive not just others, but ourselves. Without this healing, we risk bringing old patterns, old fears, and old insecurities into new relationships, which can hinder the development of a healthy, lasting love. Healing is not an easy process. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, effort, and a willingness to confront the parts of ourselves that we often want to ignore. But it is in this healing that we discover our worth, that we understand what it means to truly love ourselves. And once we love ourselves, we are in a much better position to love someone else, not out of need, but out of the fullness of who we are. True love requires us to give of ourselves, to open up our hearts and minds, and to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of strength. It takes courage to be vulnerable, to expose the deepest parts of ourselves to another person. But that vulnerability is where the magic of love happens. It is where we connect on a deeper level, beyond surface level attraction or infatuation. It is where we begin to build trust, and trust is the cornerstone of any strong relationship. But the growth that love requires also comes in the form of patience with ourselves and our partner. We must recognize that no one is perfect, and no one can love perfectly all the time. There will be misunderstandings, miscommunications, and mistakes. But true love grows stronger when we learn to forgive, to be patient, and to give grace, not just to our partner, but to ourselves. We must allow room for growth in both ourselves and in the person we love. And finally, growth in love is about understanding that the journey is just as important as the destination. We may often think of love as a destination, something to be reached, something to be obtained. But true love is about the ongoing process of growth, of learning, and of evolving together. the more we grow the more we grow together as a couple. Love isn't something that happens once and is done. It's something that continues to evolve, to deepen, and to mature. So as you wait for love, remember that it is not just about waiting for someone else to come into your life. It's about becoming the person who can fully embrace and appreciate the kind of love you desire. It's about growing into the person you are meant to be, and in doing so, creating a foundation that will allow love to flourish when it finally arrives. The waiting is not wasted. It is part of the process of growth that prepares you for the beautiful, lasting love that is just around the corner. There's a powerful truth in the simple statement that true love cannot be rushed. This is something that many of us struggle with, especially in a world where everything is moving at lightning speed. We live in an age where we expect things to happen quickly, where we want instant results and instant gratification. But true love, the kind that lasts, the kind that stands the test of time, does not unfold in an instant. It cannot be hurried. It takes time. It requires patience, and it demands that we trust in the natural flow of life. When we rush through relationships, we risk missing out on the depth and richness that love can bring. We want things to move quickly because we're caught up in the excitement of the moment. But excitement alone is not enough to sustain a relationship. It's in the slow, steady process of building a connection that we uncover the true potential of love. The kind of love that lasts is not built on rush or impulse. It is built on a steady foundation of trust, respect, understanding, and vulnerability. It takes time for two people to truly get to know one another on a deep level, to understand not just their joys and passions, but their fears, insecurities, and past wounds. Think about the process of planting a seed in the ground. You can't rush the growth of a tree. You can't force the seed to sprout and grow faster than it is meant to. No matter how badly you want it to grow, it has to go through its natural process of sprouting, growing roots, and developing into something strong enough to bear fruit. If you try to rush that process, the tree won't grow properly, and it certainly won't be able to bear the kind of fruit that you desire. The same is true for love. When we try to force love to happen too quickly, it becomes shallow. It lacks the depth and stability that a truly lasting relationship requires. The time we take to get to know one another, to experience life together, and to build trust is what makes love strong and enduring. Rushing love also means skipping over the important steps that allow us to understand each other fully. Relationships need time to mature. We need time to witness how each other handles challenges, how we respond to difficult situations, and how we support one another through life's ups and downs. We need time to learn the rhythms of each other's lives, to develop routines that make us feel safe and secure. True love doesn't just show up in grand gestures or dramatic moments. It unfolds in the small, everyday actions. The way you care for one another when no one else is watching, the way you support each other through personal struggles, and the way you help each other grow as individuals. When we rush love, we also risk falling for the idea of love rather than the reality of it. We get caught up in the fantasies of romance, in the idea of what love should look like, instead of embracing the actual experience of love. Real love is not about fairy tales or perfect moments. It's about being there for each other day in and day out through both the beautiful and challenging times. It's about growing together, learning together, and experiencing life together. If we rush through it, we miss out on the deeper connection that comes from truly knowing and understanding one another. Another reason why love cannot be rushed is that both individuals in the relationship need to grow and develop individually before they can come together as a strong unit. It's essential that both people are secure in themselves with a healthy sense of self-worth before they can fully give of themselves to another. When we rush love, we risk jumping into a relationship before we've done the necessary internal work to heal from past wounds, to overcome personal struggles, and to develop the emotional maturity required to have a healthy partnership. True love happens when two people are whole and secure in themselves, and when they come together not out of a need to fill an emptiness, but to share in the fullness of who they are. Love cannot be rushed because it must be built on a foundation of trust. Trust is the cornerstone of any strong relationship, and trust cannot be built overnight. It takes time to establish trust. Time to prove that you are reliable, that you are committed, that you are consistent in your actions and words. Trust is developed through actions, not promises. It is built through the quiet moments, the thoughtful gestures, the way you show up for each other in times of need. When we rush into love, we risk skipping this important step of building trust. And without trust, love cannot grow. The most beautiful relationships are not the ones that start out in a blaze of glory, but the ones that unfold slowly over time, each layer revealing more depth and beauty than the last. These relationships are marked by growth, by a steady deepening of the connection, and by a mutual respect that grows stronger over time. They are the relationships where each person supports the other's dreams, helps each other become better, and shares in the journey of life together. So my friends, if you find yourself in a season of waiting, or if you're wondering why true love hasn't come yet, know this. It is not a matter of chance or luck. It is a matter of timing. Love takes time to develop. It takes time to get to know each other, to understand each other, and to build something real. The love that is meant for you will come when it's time, and it will be stronger and more lasting because of the time you've taken to prepare for it, to grow into it, and to allow it to unfold naturally. Do not rush the process. Let love grow at its own pace, and in doing so, you will build something that will endure for a lifetime. True love, my friends, is a reflection of the very best of us. And that's why it's not something that arrives at the snap of a finger. True love comes when we are ready. And that readiness is a result of hard work, growth, and patience. So often, we get caught up in the rush of wanting love to happen quickly, in wanting to find that perfect person and create an ideal relationship without truly understanding what it takes to build something real and lasting. But the truth is, love requires us to first love ourselves. And loving ourselves is not a passive act. It's an active, ongoing process that demands honesty, vulnerability, and commitment. Self-love is foundational to the love we seek from others. We cannot give what we do not have. If we don't have a healthy sense of self-worth, if we don't understand our own value and respect ourselves, how can we expect someone else to do so? Many of us enter relationships with expectations that others will complete us, will fill the gaps and voids that we haven't addressed within ourselves. But that is an unfair burden to place on another person, and it sets us up for disappointment and frustration. True love cannot thrive when it is based on unmet, unspoken needs that we haven't first addressed within ourselves. When we don't love ourselves fully, we risk allowing insecurities, doubts, and past wounds to influence the way we engage in relationships. We may settle for less than we deserve, tolerate disrespect or mistreatment, and lose sight of what we need in a healthy relationship because we are afraid of being alone or feeling unworthy. But when we take the time to build a deep, genuine love for ourselves, when we recognize our strengths, forgive ourselves for our flaws, and embrace our uniqueness, only then can we enter into a relationship with another person as a whole, ready to give love freely without fear of losing ourselves in the process. Self-love also means recognizing and honoring our own needs and boundaries. It means understanding that we are worthy of love, respect, and kindness, and that we do not need to tolerate anything less than that. Too often, we neglect our own needs in an attempt to please others or avoid conflict. But true love thrives in an environment where both partners respect each other's boundaries, where both people feel safe to be themselves without fear of judgment or rejection. Self-love means knowing when to say no, knowing when to prioritize our own well-being, and knowing when to walk away from situations that are not healthy for us. It's important to realize that the love we seek from others is not the thing that defines us. Our worth is not determined by whether or not we are in a relationship, whether or not we are loved by another person. Our worth is intrinsic. It is built on who we are at our core, not on external circumstances or validation from others. And when we embrace this truth, we set ourselves free from the need for external approval. We learn to love ourselves in a way that allows us to stand confidently in our own skin, to live authentically and without fear of rejection, and to enter relationships as whole individuals who are capable of loving fully and freely. But let's be clear, loving ourselves doesn't mean being selfish. It doesn't mean prioritizing our own wants and needs above those of others. It means having a healthy understanding of who we are, what we deserve, and what we are willing to give in return. It means cultivating a deep sense of self-respect and compassion, both for ourselves and for others. And it means allowing ourselves the space to grow, to learn, and to evolve over time. When we love ourselves, we are in a better position to love others because we are coming from a place of abundance, not from a place of lack. We don't need someone to complete us. We simply want to share our lives with someone who respects, cherishes, and supports us. When we enter a relationship from a place of self-love, we are also better equipped to handle the challenges that come with it. Relationships are not always easy. They require work, compromise, and understanding. But when we know who we are, when we love ourselves deeply, we can navigate those challenges with grace and wisdom. We can communicate our needs clearly. We can forgive more readily, and we can support our partner without losing ourselves in the process. True love is not about perfection. It's about two people coming together, each bringing their best selves to the relationship and working through the difficulties with respect, kindness, and patience. And while self-love is essential, it's also important to understand that true love involves a mutual exchange. It is not just about receiving love, it is about giving love as well. Love is not a one-sided affair. It requires both partners to invest, to give of themselves, and to support each other. But that giving must come from a place of strength, a place of self-assurance, and a place of self-love. When we give love without expecting anything in return, we offer the kind of love that nurtures and strengthens the bond between two people. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that love is all about the big gestures, the grand romantic acts, the expensive gifts, the whirlwind moments of passion. While those things can be beautiful and meaningful, true love is more often found in the small, everyday moments, the quiet acts of kindness, the shared smiles, the simple understanding that two people are in this together. It's the steady, consistent effort that both partners put into the relationship over time. It's the willingness to show up for one another day after day in both the joyful and the difficult times. It's in these moments that the deepest and most lasting love is formed. True love requires us to be patient with ourselves, to give ourselves time to grow and heal. It requires us to trust the timing of our lives and to understand that love will come when we are ready, when we have done the work to become the person who can offer the kind of love we seek. It requires us to believe in ourselves, to love ourselves, and to trust that we are worthy of a love that is real, genuine, and lasting. So if you find yourself waiting for love, or if you feel as though love has not yet arrived in your life, remember this: you are not waiting for love to complete you. You are waiting for the kind of love that will come to you when you are ready, when you have grown, when you have learned to love yourself fully. And when that love arrives, it will be worth every moment of waiting, every moment of growth, and every moment of self-discovery. True love takes time, but it is always worth the wait. True love takes time because it requires us to be patient, not just with the world around us, but with ourselves. We live in a world that celebrates immediate gratification, where every desire is a click away and every need can be fulfilled within moments. But love, real love, does not adhere to these same instant timelines. True love, the kind that endures, matures, and strengthens over time, is built on a foundation of patience. A patience that allows each person to develop, to grow, and to truly become who they are meant to be in the context of the relationship. The world around us may be in a rush, constantly pushing us to move faster, do more, and be more, but love is different. It does not thrive in a rushed environment. Just as a seed must be planted and nurtured, watered, and given the right conditions to grow into a strong, flourishing tree, so must love be given the time and space to evolve. We are often too eager to experience the perfect love, but perfection is not found in quick, fleeting moments. It is found in the steady, consistent moments, the daily efforts, the shared experiences, the understanding that grows between two people who are willing to take the time to understand each other deeply. True love is not a matter of chance. It doesn't happen when we want it to, nor is it always what we expect. It's a process, a journey, and like all worthwhile journeys, it takes time to reach the destination. This is a process that involves vulnerability, discovery, and sometimes discomfort. We often think of love as an emotion, something that hits us like a bolt of lightning, something sudden and overwhelming. But true love is not simply an emotion, it's a commitment. A commitment to show up every day, to be present, to be patient with ourselves and our partners, and to grow together. It is the decision to invest in someone else's well-being as much as we invest in our own. It's the realization that love, like any relationship, takes time to cultivate, to nurture, and to strengthen. Patience in love also means accepting that there will be ups and downs along the way. We are not perfect, and neither is the person we choose to love. And it is through the challenges, the difficult times, and the growth that comes with them that love reveals its true power. It's easy to love someone when everything is going well, when both people are happy and everything seems easy. But true love shows up during the storms, during the hard times, when life doesn't go as planned. It's in those moments when patience is truly tested, when misunderstandings arise, when people's weaknesses are exposed, or when external forces put pressure on the relationship. These are the moments that reveal the true depth of love, the strength of its foundation, and the commitment of both individuals to each other. These are the moments that over time make love stronger and more resilient. And this strength is not built in a day, it is built over time, in the day-to-day choices we make to continue loving and supporting one another. It's in the small gestures, holding each other's hand during difficult times, listening without judgment, offering a word of encouragement when things are tough. These small acts accumulate and build over time, creating a love that is not easily broken. But this kind of love requires patience. Patience to let things unfold naturally, patience to endure the hard times, and patience to wait for the beautiful things that come when we take the time to allow them to grow. Part of what makes love take time is that we must allow ourselves to heal before we can fully give ourselves to another. Often we enter relationships with emotional baggage, past hurts, disappointments, or unresolved issues that we may not even be fully aware of, but these things affect how we experience and express love. If we do not take the time to heal, to process our past experiences, and to work through our emotional wounds, we risk bringing these unresolved issues into new relationships, causing unnecessary tension and conflict. Healing is a vital part of the love journey, and it is something that takes time. It requires patience with ourselves, understanding that we cannot rush the process of healing. Healing happens gradually, through reflection, through self-compassion, and through allowing ourselves to grieve and let go of what no longer serves us. True love also requires us to let go of the unrealistic expectations we often place on others and on relationships. We often enter relationships with a picture in our minds of what love should look like, what our partner should look like, how they should act, and what kind of experiences we should have together. These expectations, while natural, can sometimes cloud our ability to truly see and appreciate the person we are with. We must allow love to develop on its own terms without forcing it into a mold or trying to rush it into a preconceived notion of what it should be. Instead of looking for perfection, we need to embrace the beauty in the imperfections, in the flaws, and in the unique journey that each relationship takes. It is only when we accept the natural pace of love that we can experience its true depth. When we accept that true love takes time, we can also begin to understand that love is not about reaching a destination, but about enjoying the journey. It's not about finding the perfect moment or achieving a certain ideal. It's about the process of discovering who we are together, of building a life together, and of continuing to choose each other day after day, even when things aren't perfect. The true beauty of love lies in the way it grows, evolves, and deepens over time. It's in the shared memories, the inside jokes, the comfort that comes from knowing someone deeply, and the strength that comes from weathering life's challenges together. True love takes time because it allows us to experience the richness of connection that can only come from enduring, from growing, from facing life's challenges together. It is not rushed, nor should it be. It takes time to build trust, to learn each other's rhythms, to heal from past wounds, and to create something lasting. But when we give love the time it deserves, when we invest in the process of growing together, the reward is a love that is deep, fulfilling, and enduring. So do not rush the process. Allow love to grow at its own pace and trust that when the time is right, love will come and it will be worth every moment of waiting. When we look at true love and think about why it takes time to arrive, it's important to understand that love in its most genuine form is not about a singular moment of connection. It is a series of experiences, interactions, and growth that builds over time. The process of love is gradual, and it involves both individuals learning, evolving, and discovering the depth of their emotions, desires, and vulnerabilities. The truth is that love, the kind that sustains, the kind that endures the tests of time, doesn't happen overnight. It is not something that is easily acquired or understood at first glance. True love requires effort, patience, and a willingness to experience life together, to truly connect on a deep level. It requires time for both individuals to become the best versions of themselves and to come together with a foundation of trust, understanding, and mutual respect. When we rush love, we often overlook the importance of self-discovery and growth. In the early stages of a relationship, there is a tendency to want to move quickly to find the perfect person and skip over the complexities of getting to know one another. But love cannot thrive in a rush. It is in the quiet moments, the conversations that go beyond surface level interactions, the moments of vulnerability and openness that true love begins to take shape. We must give ourselves and our partners the time to grow individually and together. It's in the space between the quiet and the loud, the calm and the storm, that love is nurtured and cultivated. If we rush through this phase, we risk never truly understanding each other's hearts, our true desires, and our emotional needs. This process of getting to know one another is not always easy, and it is certainly not always comfortable. Love is not just about the good moments. It's also about the challenges, the difficulties, and the growth that comes with facing life's obstacles together. True love is tested not when everything is perfect, but when things are difficult, when challenges arise, when you have to navigate through storms together. It is in these moments that love proves its strength and resilience, but these moments cannot be rushed. They're a natural part of the journey, and they require time to process, to understand, and to navigate. The more time you spend together, the more opportunities you have to build the trust and emotional intimacy that forms the bedrock of a lasting relationship. Without this foundation, love may feel shallow and unsteady, but when you give it the time it needs to deepen and strengthen, you create a love that is unshakable, even when the world around you is uncertain. One of the most important aspects of love is that it is not static. It is dynamic. It evolves over time. As individuals grow, so too must their love for each other grow and change. The person you are today is not the person you were 5 years ago, and the love you experience now is not the same as the love you felt when you first met. This evolution of love is one of the most beautiful aspects of a long-lasting relationship, but it requires time. It requires an openness to change, to adapt, and to embrace new experiences and challenges together. It requires the wisdom that comes from living life and weathering storms together. Love that is rushed often misses this important aspect of evolution. It focuses too much on the initial intensity and not enough on the long-term commitment and growth that true love demands. Another reason why true love takes time to arrive is because we must first be ready to receive it. Often we look for love outside of ourselves without first addressing the state of our heart. We search for love to fill a void, to fix something within us, or to give us a sense of completion. But true love cannot be fully embraced unless we are whole within ourselves. We must first take the time to heal from past wounds, to confront our fears, to understand who we are, and to love ourselves before we can truly love another person. If we do not give ourselves the space to heal, we may enter into relationships with unaddressed baggage, with insecurities that color our perception of love, and with expectations that others can fix what is broken inside us. This is why self-love is such an essential part of the process of finding true love. It's in learning to love ourselves, to be comfortable with who we are, and to accept our flaws and imperfections that we make room for love to enter our lives. When we are ready to love ourselves, we are able to give that love freely to others without needing them to fill the emptiness we feel inside. True love doesn't happen when we are looking for someone else to complete us. It happens when we are fully capable of standing alone, and yet we choose to share our lives with someone else, knowing that they are adding to our completeness, not creating it. But even when we are ready to receive love, we must understand that it does not always come in the form we expect. Often we have an idealized version of what love should look like, the fairy tale romance, the perfect partner who checks all of our boxes. But love is not always predictable, and it rarely matches the expectations we set for it. Sometimes love arrives in unexpected forms, through unexpected people, and at times when we least expect it. This is why rushing love is such a dangerous endeavor. When we rush, we miss the subtle signs and the quiet moments that guide us to the love we are meant to have. We might overlook the person who truly understands us because we are so focused on a specific idea of what love should look like. We might turn away from a relationship because it doesn't meet our idealized expectations, even though it has the potential to grow into something real and lasting. True love is not about fitting a mold. It's about allowing love to unfold in its own time, in its own way, and trusting that what is meant for you will come at the right time. True love is also a reflection of two individuals who are both committed to becoming the best versions of themselves, not just for their partner, but for themselves as well. This takes time. We all have areas in our lives that need work, areas where we need healing, growth, and improvement. Love isn't about finding someone to fix us, but finding someone with whom we can grow, learn, and evolve together. This process of becoming the best versions of ourselves requires patience, self-reflection, and the willingness to put in the effort to improve. But it also requires understanding that this journey of growth is ongoing, and that there will be moments of challenge, uncertainty, and discomfort. It is in these moments that love becomes stronger, deeper, and more meaningful. We cannot rush this process. We must allow it to unfold naturally, knowing that every step we take together brings us closer to the love that we seek. Love is not something that can be forced, controlled, or rushed. It is something that happens when we are ready, when we are willing to be vulnerable, when we allow ourselves and our partners the time and space to grow and develop. It is a journey, not a destination. And while the world around us may encourage us to move quickly, to settle, or to look for quick fixes, we must resist the urge to rush. We must allow love to unfold at its own pace, knowing that when it arrives, it will be worth every moment of waiting. True love takes time because it is built on trust, patience, and a deep commitment to the growth of both. And when it arrives, it will be stronger, deeper, and more fulfilling because it was allowed to grow naturally. True love takes time to arrive because it requires us to build a solid foundation, a foundation that cannot be rushed or forced. It is easy to think of love as something that simply happens, a magical feeling that strikes like lightning, but the reality is that love is not an instantaneous phenomenon. It's a gradual process, one that builds layer by layer, like constructing a house that will withstand the tests of time. This foundation is essential because love without depth or substance can crumble under the weight of life's challenges. The time it takes for love to develop allows both individuals to truly understand one another, to learn each other's strengths and weaknesses, to accept one another for who they are, and to forge a connection that is not based on fleeting emotions or superficial attractions, but on something deeper, more meaningful. When we think about love in terms of immediate fulfillment, we often forget that the most meaningful relationships are those that evolve over time, shaped by shared experiences, mutual respect, and a commitment to understanding one another. This process requires patience. We have to allow ourselves and our partners the time to reveal our true selves. In the early stages of a relationship, we are often guarded, presenting only the best versions of ourselves in an effort to impress. But true love doesn't happen when we are trying to show off our most polished selves. It happens when we let our guard down, when we become vulnerable enough to share our fears, our flaws, and our imperfections. It's only through this kind of openness that we can build the trust necessary for love to grow. But vulnerability requires time to develop. It requires a safe space where both individuals feel accepted and supported. And this space is built through shared moments, through consistency, and through patience. This is why true love takes time to arrive. It cannot be rushed because it requires us to build trust, and trust is something that can only be earned through time. It's not something that can be given away freely from the start. Trust is developed through actions, through showing up consistently, through proving that we can rely on each other in moments of difficulty. Trust grows when we see how our partner reacts under stress, how they show up when life is challenging, and when we know they will still be there, even when things are not easy. But trust takes time. It's not a quick transaction. It's a slow and steady process, one that takes years to fully establish and deepen. Without trust, love cannot thrive. Without trust, love is fragile and easily broken. But when trust is present, love is fortified and it grows stronger with each passing day. Another reason why love takes time to arrive is that it requires a deep understanding of one another's needs, desires, and boundaries. We are all unique individuals with our own experiences, backgrounds, and emotional baggage. We cannot expect to understand or meet the needs of our partner overnight. Relationships are about learning, listening, and adapting to each other's needs, and this process cannot be rushed. We have to give ourselves the time to truly listen, to be present, and to understand what makes our partner feel loved and valued. This takes more than just a few dates or a couple of months of casual interactions. True understanding of another person's heart, mind, and soul takes years of conversations, of learning about what drives them, what challenges them, and what brings them joy. It is in these moments of discovery that we truly bond, and it is in these moments that love deepens and matures. True love also requires a willingness to grow, not just individually, but together. As we move through life, we change. Our goals, dreams, and desires evolve, and the love we share with our partner must evolve with it. This evolution takes time because it requires both individuals to be open to change, to support each other through personal growth, and to adapt to new circumstances. People often think of love as something static, something that is supposed to remain the same forever. But love is dynamic. It shifts and changes as we go through different seasons of life. It changes when we face new challenges together, when we experience loss or success, and when we start new chapters of our lives. But for love to grow through these changes, it requires both individuals to be patient with each other, to give each other the space to grow, and to support one another through each phase of life. This is not something that can happen overnight. It takes time to truly understand how to be partners in every stage of life, and it takes patience to allow love to adapt as life continues to unfold. Another vital aspect of why love takes time is because it allows us to heal from past wounds and experiences. Many of us come into relationships with baggage from previous experiences, past hurts, insecurities, and unresolved emotions. These things shape how we perceive ourselves and others. Love requires time to process these past experiences, to heal, and to learn how to move forward in a healthy way. It is unfair to expect love to heal all wounds instantly, or to expect a relationship to fix what has been broken in the past. True love requires us to first heal ourselves, to become whole again, before we can offer ourselves fully to another person. This process of healing can be long and painful, but it is necessary for love to thrive. When we are healed, we can love more freely, without fear, without holding back, and without projecting our past pain onto our partner. Love takes time because healing takes time, and only when we are whole can we truly be open to receiving and giving love in its purest form. Time also allows us to test the strength of our connection with another person. When we first meet someone, the excitement of newness can cloud our judgment. We are often caught up in the passion and intensity of the early stages of a relationship, and we may overlook red flags or unresolved issues. As time passes, the initial intensity fades, and we are left with the reality of the relationship. This is when true love begins to reveal itself. It is in the long-term moments that we begin to see if the relationship has the depth and substance to endure. Love that is genuine is not just about the honeymoon phase. It's about the ability to weather life's storms together, to face challenges head on, and to still choose one another every day. Only time can reveal whether a relationship has the potential to endure, to stand the test of time, and to grow into something that is lasting and meaningful. True love also takes time, because it requires us to let go of unrealistic expectations and idealized notions of what love should be. Many of us enter relationships with a picture of love that has been shaped by movies, books, and societal ideals. We expect love to be perfect, to be without struggle, and to always make us feel happy and fulfilled. But the truth is that love is messy, it's imperfect, and it requires hard work. It requires compromise, communication, and sometimes sacrifice. When we let go of these unrealistic expectations and allow love to develop naturally, we can experience its true depth. But this process of letting go takes time. It requires patience and an openness to love in its raw, unpolished form. Finally, true love takes time because it requires both individuals to become the best versions of themselves, not just for each other, but for themselves. In the beginning of a relationship, we often focus on what our partner can give us, what they can offer us. But over time, love teaches us that it is just as important to focus on our own personal growth. True love supports the growth of both individuals, and this takes time. We must become the best versions of ourselves, not because we want to please our partner, but because we want to be the kind of person who is worthy of love and who can give love freely and without expectation. Love in its purest form cannot be rushed. It grows, evolves, and strengthens over time. It is in this slow, steady process that we learn the true meaning of love. We cannot force it. We cannot hurry it. But when it arrives, after the waiting, the growing, and the learning, we realize that every moment of patience, every moment of waiting was worth it. True love takes time, but when it does arrive, it is a love that will stand the test of time itself. True love takes time to arrive because it demands a deep and genuine connection that cannot be rushed or forged overnight. At the heart of love lies the necessity of emotional intimacy and understanding, which takes time to build. It's easy to think of love as something spontaneous, something that happens in an instant, when in reality, love is more like a seed that must be carefully nurtured and allowed to grow. True love is not about a fleeting spark or a momentary passion, but rather a steady flame that requires consistent effort, attention, and care. The deep connection that forms the foundation of true love can't be rushed. It's in the slow and deliberate development of that bond that love finds its true strength and purpose. Love, in its deepest form, is not just about attraction or chemistry, although these things are important. It's about a profound understanding and acceptance of another person, flaws and all. This kind of connection takes time because it requires us to truly know one another, to understand the other person's heart, mind, and soul. We often enter relationships with a surface level understanding of someone, thinking that we know them based on the impressions we've gathered. But love isn't just about the external or the immediate. It's about diving deeper. It's about peeling back the layers to see who the other person really is beneath the surface. And that kind of deep understanding can only come through time, as we spend countless moments together, experiencing life side by side and learning each other's intricacies. True love also requires a process of emotional growth, both individually and as a couple. It's easy to expect love to be effortless, to think that once we meet the right person, everything will fall into place without much struggle. But love, especially the kind that endures, is not easy. It requires us to face our own vulnerabilities, confront our insecurities, and allow ourselves to grow in ways that may be uncomfortable. True love is a mirror. It reflects our flaws and challenges us to become better versions of ourselves. But that process of growth takes time. We don't become the best versions of ourselves in an instant. We need time to work through our own issues, to heal from past wounds, and to evolve into the people we were always meant to be. This growth, while necessary for love to truly thrive, takes time and patience. Without it, love can become stagnant or superficial. It's through this long, often difficult journey of emotional growth that love matures into something truly meaningful and lasting. It's also in the passage of time that we learn to truly love with depth. In the early stages of a relationship, love often feels exciting and intense, filled with passion and novelty, but as time passes, that initial rush fades. What remains, however, is the deeper bond that has been created through shared experiences and mutual understanding. True love cannot thrive solely on the excitement of the beginning. It needs the substance of time to develop. Time gives us the opportunity to see how our partner reacts in different situations, how they handle challenges, how they cope with stress, and how they show up for us in difficult moments. It's only through these shared experiences that we truly learn to love each other. Passion and excitement are vital in any relationship, but they are not enough on their own to sustain true love. What sustains love is the depth that comes with time, learning each other's strengths, weaknesses, dreams, fears, and desires. True love is also about creating a history together. Every relationship is made up of moments of joy, sorrow, success, and failure. The more time we spend with someone, the more moments we create. These moments form a shared history that becomes an essential part of our relationship. They create the stories that we will tell for years to come, the inside jokes, the memories that bind us together. This shared history is what makes love strong. It's the bedrock upon which we can stand when times get tough. The more history we have with someone, the more we have to hold on to. These memories act as reminders of why we chose each other, of the bond we've created, and of the strength we've built over time. A relationship without history lacks this foundation and thus lacks the depth required for true love to take root. Furthermore, love takes time because it demands the patience to overcome obstacles together. No relationship is without its challenges. We all face difficult moments in life, whether it's the loss of a loved one, career struggles, personal setbacks, or anything else that life throws our way. True love is not tested in the easy times, but in the difficult ones. It's in these moments of hardship that the true depth of love is revealed. But overcoming challenges together requires time. We need time to process our emotions, to support one another, and to figure out how to navigate the difficulties that life presents. The process of facing challenges together strengthens the bond between two people. And it's in these moments that we truly understand the power of love. But none of this can happen without time. It's in the patience and perseverance through these struggles that love proves its resilience. Patience is the key to understanding why true love takes time. The love that lasts is not the kind that rushes into things without regard for what's to come. It's the kind of love that takes its time to grow, to mature, and to become something truly enduring. In a world that often values instant gratification, it can be tempting to want love to come quickly, to find that instant connection that feels like it will last forever. But real love is not about rushing to a destination. It's about the journey, the process of growing together, of becoming more than just two individuals, but a true partnership. Time allows this partnership to flourish. It allows us to build trust, to learn about each other's deepest desires, and to discover how to complement one another. It's through this process of gradual, steady growth that we find the love we're truly looking for, one that can withstand the ups and downs of life, that will stand strong in the face of adversity, and that will continue to deepen with each passing day. The beauty of true love is that it is not something that can be rushed. It cannot be manufactured or forced. It is a product of time, patience, and genuine effort. Time allows us to grow into the kind of people who are ready to give and receive love in its most complete form. It allows us to weather the challenges that life throws our way and come out stronger on the other side. True love takes time because it requires emotional maturity, understanding, growth, and the creation of a shared history. It requires us to be patient with ourselves, with our partners, and with the process of building a lasting bond. True love is not about perfection, but about building something that lasts, something that endures through every season of life. It's a slow burn, one that only becomes stronger with time, patience, and unwavering commitment. So, when we find ourselves yearning for love to arrive, let us remember that the best love is the one that takes time to arrive, for it is the love that is built to last. Truth love takes time to arrive because it is founded on the principles of patience, understanding, and gradual growth, rather than on the fleeting rush of initial attraction or emotional high. It is a deep and enduring connection that is nurtured through shared experiences, personal growth, and an unwavering commitment to the journey of building a life together. In the early stages of a relationship, we may be overwhelmed by the excitement of newness, the thrill of discovering someone new, and the passion that often accompanies these initial stages. But real love, the kind that endures, is not built on those transient moments of infatuation. It's built on the quiet, steady moments that follow when the initial rush has faded and both people are left to confront the reality of who they are, what they want, and how they can fit together as partners in life. The passage of time allows both individuals in a relationship to peel back the layers that initially cover who they truly are. When we first meet someone, we present only a polished version of ourselves, the best version we can offer, in the hopes of impressing. But true intimacy, the kind that leads to deep, enduring love, cannot be forged when we are still hiding parts of ourselves, consciously or unconsciously. Over time, as we grow more comfortable and secure in the relationship, we begin to show our true selves, imperfections and all. We reveal our vulnerabilities, our fears, our flaws, and the scars from past experiences. It is in these moments of honesty and authenticity that love truly has the chance to grow. But this process takes time. It's not something that happens overnight. It requires patience, a willingness to be vulnerable, and the trust that the other person will accept us fully for who we are without judgment or fear. Trust, perhaps the most essential element of any lasting relationship, also takes time to develop. Trust is not something that can be given freely at the outset. It must be earned over time through consistent actions, reliability, and a deep sense of security. Trust is built by showing up, being there when needed, and following through on promises and commitments. In the early stages of a relationship, trust may exist in small doses, but it's through the passage of time, through shared experiences, and through the demonstration of dependability that trust solidifies into something unshakable. Without trust, love is fragile, constantly vulnerable to misunderstandings, doubts, and insecurities. But when trust is present, it becomes the bedrock upon which love can thrive, even in the most challenging of times. Trust, like love, is not instant. It is earned through patience, through the accumulation of small moments where two people show their loyalty, care, and devotion to each other. Time is also necessary for both individuals to heal from past wounds and personal baggage. Every one of us carries emotional baggage from our past, whether it's from previous relationships, childhood experiences, or personal struggles. These wounds shape how we view ourselves and how we relate to others. To fully give and receive love, we must first heal from these past hurts. This healing process cannot be rushed. It takes time to confront the past, to come to terms with past trauma, and to move forward in a healthy, constructive way. True love cannot flourish if we are still carrying the weight of unresolved issues or unresolved pain. A healthy relationship requires both individuals to become whole on their own, to work through their individual struggles, and to arrive at a place where they are ready to share their lives with someone else. The passage of time, along with self-reflection, growth, and support, is the key to achieving this healing. Only when both individuals are emotionally healthy and whole can they truly come together and build the kind of love that is lasting and deep. Moreover, the slow, gradual process of building a relationship allows us to understand each other's needs, desires, and boundaries. In the early stages of a relationship, we are often caught up in the excitement and the novelty, sometimes overlooking important details about each other's values, priorities, and boundaries. However, as time passes and the initial intensity fades, we begin to see the deeper aspects of the other person's character. We learn what they truly need from a relationship, what their deepest fears are, and how they express love. We also begin to understand our own needs more clearly and how to communicate them to our partner. This mutual understanding is essential for a lasting relationship, but it cannot be achieved without time. We need time to ask the right questions, to listen to each other's answers, and to make adjustments as we learn more about each other. The time spent together in both joyous and challenging moments helps us understand each other more fully and fosters a connection that is based not on assumptions, but on true insight and empathy. Love that grows over time also requires both individuals to evolve together. It's easy to assume that once we find someone we love, everything will fall into place, but the reality is that love demands growth and change, both as individuals and as a couple. Our goals, aspirations, and desires evolve over time, and the love we share must adapt to these changes. This evolution takes patience and understanding. As life unfolds, we may face new challenges or embark on new paths. We may go through phases of personal growth or transformation. True love is not about two people who never change or grow apart. It's about two people who evolve together, supporting each other through these changes and growing stronger as a result. But this kind of partnership takes time. It requires both people to be open to change, to embrace each other's growth, and to be willing to adjust to new circumstances. The time spent navigating life together, facing challenges and celebrating triumphs is what strengthens the bond and deepens the love. True love also thrives when there is a history of shared experiences and memories. Relationships are built on moments, small moments, that add up over time to create a deep and meaningful history. These shared moments become the foundation of the relationship, the stories we tell, the inside jokes, the memories that bind us together. It's the daily rituals, the quiet conversations, the spontaneous adventures, and the shared challenges that create a history that cannot be replicated by anyone else. This history is what sustains love during difficult times. When we face challenges or doubts, we can look back on the moments we've shared and remember why we chose each other, what we've been through together, and the strength of our connection. This shared history is what makes love real and lasting. But it takes time to create it. It's the accumulation of experiences, one moment at a time, that forms a bond that cannot be broken by time or circumstance. Lastly, true love requires the patience to weather the storms of life together. Every relationship faces trials, moments of hardship, loss, disappointment, or struggle. These moments test the strength of the relationship, but they also reveal the depth of the love shared between two people. It is easy to love someone when everything is going well, when life is easy, and when the future is bright. But true love is proven in the difficult moments, in the times of uncertainty and adversity. It's in these times that love has the opportunity to grow stronger, to prove its resilience, and to show its true depth. But facing these challenges requires time. It requires the patience to work through problems together, the courage to support one another, and the commitment to stand by each other no matter what. True love takes time because it is forged in the fire of life's challenges, and it is the result of enduring together through the highs and lows, supporting each other with unwavering dedication. True love takes time because it is not an accident, nor is it something that happens by chance. It is the result of intentional effort, emotional growth, shared experiences, and an enduring commitment to each other. It requires patience, vulnerability, trust, and resilience. Love that is truly deep and lasting cannot be rushed or forced. It is a slow process of growth, discovery, and mutual support that builds over time, creating a foundation that can weather any storm. True love takes time, but when it arrives, it is a love that is worth every moment of waiting.